What is up, YouTube? Back at it again with another video today. And today I'm gonna be talking about my top 5 best mid spawning baits. So while the fish are on beds, I'm gonna be talking about my top 5 best baits when they're during the mid spawn, not pre spawn, not post spawn, but right in the mid of the spawn. So bait number 1, we're going to talk about, actually the first 3, we're going to talk about bottom baits. When these bass are on beds, they're obviously on the bottom, and what makes them more mad than a real life bluegill is something on their bed. Some dragging along the bed, some eating their baits, not baits, eating their eggs. But I like to use a whole bunch of bottom dragging baits. So my first bait is actually going to be a Zoom brush hog. This bait, hands down, I can use it basically all year round and catch a whole bunch of bass. But it really shines in that early of the year, when they're coming out of that late winter, early spring, all through the spawn, even through the summer. But it shines in the spawn. I've caught multiple big fish on this. I actually caught 2 fish last year on it, over 9 pounds on it. A whole bunch of big other fish, 5, 6 pounders on it. I mean, this bait is a fish catching machine. So my go-to color is a not green pumpkin, a watermelon red. Sometimes a green pumpkin magic, depending on what color they want. But this works really good. Watermelon red and this brush hog is a killer bait. I actually like to throw a 1/8 ounce weight with a 4/0 worm hook. I found that slower fall is just a good fish catcher. Sometimes if the wind's pretty bad, I'll throw a 3/16 ounce bullet worm hook. But I like to go with that 1/8 ounce in the springtime. Just dragging it along slow, just dragging it. I'm not skipping it, I'm not hopping it, I'm not bouncing it, yo-yoing it. I'm just dragging it, and that is a killer bait. Number 2 is gonna be a any type of a Senko. Whether that's a Yum Dinger, Gary Yamamoto, Senko. Just throwing that weightless. I like the Texas rig. Throwing on a 4/0 worm hook, maybe a 3/0, depending on the size of a Senko I'm using. But sometimes when the bass are getting pressured on the beds, throw it in there, and we're having the bullet weight splashes, scare off the fish. But throwing in the weightless Senko and not making like really any sound hitting the water, it will tell you what that bass is gonna do pretty quick, whether it's catchable or not. But it's a really good bed fishing bait to use. Number 3 is gonna be a trick worm. A Zoom trick worm. Throw that on the shaky head. I love to throw that on the shaky head. I'll throw that trick worm basically all year round. Throw that on a 3/16 ounce shaky head. I'll post a picture right here. I'll use that shaky head right there in the color black, 3/16 ounce. Might have to downsize to 1/8, just depends, but I like to throw a 3/16. Another killer bait is, I don't have it's in the boat right now, but I'll post a picture right now, is a white Rage Craw by Strike King. The baby Rage Craw, not the big one, not the regular size one, but the smaller one. They might make one smaller. It might not be the baby, but it's just the smaller Rage Craw. Like, but in the color white, that is hands down the best sight fishing bait when on beds to use. I mean, I caught so many fish on that white Rage Craw, the smaller size one, not the regular one. But that, I mean, just seeing it in the water, the action on the tails, is hands down probably the best sight fishing bait. I mean, really almost like ever made. But I mean, such a good bait to use. But enough said with that. If I'm fishing riprap or even some brush piles up shallow during this time, I will actually go with a jig with a trailer on it, so a craw trailer. I like to throw natural colors. This time I like to throw natural colors unless they're on beds. I'll throw white first, so I can see the bait, depending on the water quality though. If you throw natural colors, then that natural color is going to get a bite way quicker than the white, most of the time. But I would like to throw jig, probably throw it in 3/8 ounce, but I'll try to go the lightest I can. But that's a good way to catch them too, fishing along the dam, brush piles underneath docks, flipping underneath docks. Jigs catch a lot of big fish during that time of season, even in the summertime too. It's not just the mid-spawn baits. But it's actually, I was gonna say that I was gonna throw in another lure, but I'll count that as number 5 because I want to save this other bait last. But another one is a crankbait. You throw like this. I don't know the color on it. I forgot its name, but throwing a crankbait like that, a shallow like square bill or a mid-diving square bill, also catch a lot of big fish, even in that pre-spawn stage. Even when they're spawning, catches a lot of spawning fish. Throwing that, and you know that comes right out of the bed, and they're gonna eat that. It's just a reaction strike. Hands down, that's been, people been fishing the square bill during spawn for years, and it's been catching a lot of big fish. But I like to go more bluegill colored. So like this color right here does a lot of good. I like to stay away from the shad color crankbaits, but sometimes I just prefer that shad color crankbait over the bluegill color crankbaits. But I like to throw that on 10-pound test, sometimes 12-pound test. Just depends if I really want to get and hit it on the bottom. But the last bait, so basically number 6, the last bait I'm gonna talk about is gonna be actually a swim bait. You use any type of swim bait. This is just a bluegill color swim bait. So this bluegill swim bait, I use this sometimes. If the bass are not eating it, I just try to throw this bluegill swim bait. Any type of swim bait is good during this year. You throw this, basically you don't even have to see the fish on the bed. This bluegill swim bait is gonna get eaten, and if it does get eaten, it's gonna be by a big fish. But I like to throw that around their beds. If I see the beds, or just in general, I like to throw that and kind of just give a couple quick twitches where it's like that. You know, I mean, they big kick side to side. So I mean, it's gonna big kick side to side, and it's gonna slowly sink. You know, giving that strike zone longer. Sometimes, if they don't like you know, that big wide kick or even a straight reel, I like to just kind of drag it on the bottom. It's kind of risky, you might lose it, but if you sight fishing them and you see the beds, you can also do that. Just kind of let it sit in the bed, kind of just, you can hop it up out of there and crank it real hard out of that bed, get them fired up. We can actually just kind of drag it and then just kind of take off with it. Just kind of hop it up, let it sink, and just reel up. And that's pretty good on sight fishing bass. But that's pretty much all I have to say. If y'all have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss all my latest content. And if you have not watched the pre-spawn video or any of my top 5 tackle tips or any of my videos on my channel, just go down and click on my channel and scroll through it. And if you like a video you want to watch, click the video, watch it, and leave a thumbs up on that. And if you don't watch the pre-spawn or any of my tips, you click that little card right up here and it'll take you straight to that video. Enough said. Hopefully y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all on the next Lunkers Unlimited. See y'all.